Good evening. It's Thursday. We've almost made it to the end of the week. Is that hard to believe or what? So, welcome to my virtual studio here. And it's nice to see you. So, tonight is Thursday night Vinyasa Flow. Vinyasa means, well, Hatha Vinyasa rather. Hatha means balance, Vinyasa means flow. So this is the course, or the class rather, once a week, where we are doing a traditional flow. Sometimes it's more challenging than others. It's not really a power flow, but sometimes it can be pretty demanding, and sometimes it's more calming. It all kind of depends on what we happen to be studying that week and what the buildup was to the class. So we're continuing our study of the chakras. And there are, as we have said, 7 main chakras of the body. We have nadis all throughout the body. Those are called energy channels. And then along those energy channels, we have these energy centers, these different chakras. Now there are actually like 250 plus chakras throughout the body, but we have these 7 main chakras that we concentrate on and talk about frequently in yoga. And those chakras have things they govern in our being, certain properties about them. And they take us from our foundation to our highest consciousness. And so they're a nice thing to go through because they kind of remind us of how to be in this life. And really good yoga is the yoga that teaches you to live the yogic life off the mat. Take the tools and lessons you're learning here and take them off the mat. So notice I didn't say really good yoga is the kind of yoga that, burns you out, makes you super strong. The strength that you're seeking in yoga is internal. And you're seeking tools for good living. The asanas help us get into that place, and sure, it provides nice exercise. But really, it's about learning how to master the breath, and through the breath, develop higher consciousness and an ability to live in better harmony with the world that we are in. So Ajna is our chakra tonight. Ajna is located, well, it's really located in the middle of the brain, where the pineal gland is, right in the center of the brain. But it's right here between the eyebrows here. So if you take your finger, you might remind yourself, you can even lick your finger and then touch it to really wake it up and tell you where it's at. So sometimes in yoga, your yoga teacher will say, close your eyes and turn in your third eye. There it is. But really, it's a call to turn inward, a call to focus inward and become mindful. That's really what it calls us to do. But Ajna is interesting. So see the color of my shirt here. This is actually more associated with the throat chakra, but Ajna is often in the color of deep violet, indigo blue. The mantra in Ajna is I see. And you can even take that a step further and say, I see clearly, right? So it's about enlightenment. It's about clarity. It's about having a wisdom about you, okay? So that's what Ajna is about. The scent actually connected to Ajna is lavender. Think of lavender, those beautiful purple flowers. Calm. The other thing you're seeking in order to have that vision, to have that sight, is you have to be able to calm the mind, calm the nervous system, get out of, as Scott would say, the amygdala brain, the lizard brain, the one that governs your basic instincts and your fight or flight response. You're past that. Once you've gotten up to Ajna, you are about going into higher consciousness, turning away from the noise of the world and turning inward and finding stillness. So the gland, like I said, that is associated with this is the pineal gland, which does control our sleep cycle and our circadian rhythm. And if we are sleeping well, if this chakra is well and balanced, then we sleep well, we have vivid dreams. We have dreams that are enlightening, and they're good. They're not nightmares. So that's something to think about also with this chakra. And so tonight, I've designed a routine that it actually will be somewhat challenging, but what you would expect to see in a routine that focuses on this chakra is maybe opportunities for us to touch our forehead to things, touch it to the floor, touch it to our hands, have moments of stillness built in. So I invite you tonight to join me in the practice of Ajna. So go ahead and inhale your shoulders up to your ears and exhale, bring them back down, stacking your shoulders beautifully on top of your hips, rising your heart center up to the ceiling, up to the sky. Go ahead and close your eyes and focus on Ajna, on the third chakra. Take your forefingers to your thumbs and go ahead and straighten your arms all the way out with your palms facing the ceiling. And just inhale and exhale and begin to connect with your breath. Breathing in and out of your nose. Expanding and contracting the belly. And now begin to draw your breath up to the crown of your head. Hold it at the top and then exhale it all the way down. Inhale. Hold your breath at the top and then exhale all the way down. One more inhale. Hold it at the top and then exhale all the way down. Now, one breath that you can do that really helps with clarity, helps with vision, helps clear the head, remove the fog, if you will, is Nadi Shodhana breathing. So I was just doing actually some review today of different types of breathing techniques. And I'd like to review Nadi Shodhana with you. So Nadi Shodhana breathing is an alternate nostril breathing. Nadi means channels. I told you about the energy channels in the body. It also means flow, and Shodhana means purification. So we're purifying the sinuses, therefore purifying the mind, freeing it up to have this higher consciousness. So these are some of the benefits of Nadi Shodhana breathing. Infusing your body with oxygen, reducing stress and anxiety, calming and rejuvenating your nervous system, helping to balance your hormones, helping to clear and balance the respiratory channels, alleviating allergies, balancing the solar, lunar, masculine, and feminine energies. So the sun is associated with masculine, the moon is associated with feminine. Fostering mental clarity and alert mind, enhancing the ability to concentrate, and balancing your left and right hemispheres. So these are all things that, yes, will help you to clarify. I just want to see if, oh, I was checking to see if my 7 o'clock student was buzzing in for the link. Okay, so going back to Nadi Shodhana breathing. So the way that we do Nadi Shodhana breathing is we exhale out of the left nostril, inhale through, pause at the top, switch sides, exhale out of the right, inhale through the right, switch sides, exhale out of the left, through the left, switch sides, out of the right, and through the right. So we're going to repeat that 5 or 10 times, and then our final exhale will be through the left side. So what you first want to do is take your hands and create like this letter Y. You can also, there's different ways to do it. You can just bring your middle and your forefinger to the palm of your hand. You can bring all 3 of these fingers to the palm of the hand and create this letter Y. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb and press it against your right nostril and go ahead and exhale. And then inhale. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the right. Inhale. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the right, left. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the right. Inhale through the right. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the left. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the right. Inhale through the right. Pause. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the left. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the right. Inhale through the right. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the left. Pause. Switch sides. Exhale out of the right. Inhale through the right. Switch sides. And then fully exhale out of the left. Go ahead and place your hand down. Take a moment. Return back to that mudra with the forefinger on the thumb, all 3 fingers out and close together. Arms straight in front. Draw your shoulders back and down. And now while we're sitting here, very clear breathing channel and a clear mind. Now concentrate on that third eye. One more inhale. Fully exhale. And if you're sitting up on a block or a bolster, why don't you go ahead and remove that? We're going to sit back down now on the floor and begin our flow. So sitting back in Sukhasana is one option you have, or you can choose half lotus. I don't go into full lotus very easily, but half lotus is quite achievable for me. And it's funny, this raises a good point of awareness about the body and about having wisdom as it even relates to the body. So we see all kinds of videos and imagery on the internet about what is yoga, right? And we are led to believe that yoga is certain things. And we are led to believe that everybody gets into lotus and sits in lotus for however long. But not all of us can do lotus. So I have not been able to do lotus my entire life. I started doing yoga here and there with my mother when I was 10. And I was a gymnast. I was flexible. I could do the splits all 3 ways. I could, do back bends. I could walk my hands to the front of my feet with my body upside down. And yet my hips would not allow me to do lotus. So let me show you what happens when I try to do lotus. So I've got my right foot up on my left hip. In order to get into it, I have to kind of yank my foot into position. And then look what happens. My feet fall out. So you know what? Sukhasana is fine. Half lotus is fine. So you might find that you still get great benefits if you go into half lotus. What you want is your ankle all the way up by the top of your hip. If you can't do that in full lotus, then you shouldn't be in full lotus. So, but half lotus, this works really lovely and allows me to sit nice and tall, and it still works that hip open. It feels a little different on each side, but that's okay. So go ahead and take our hands to prayer, bow our head down. Set an intention for your practice this evening. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands out and up. Exhale your hands out and down. And then inhale them out and out one more time. And then exhale, go ahead and hinge forward. So I'm actually hinging over my half lotus. That's okay. Feels really good. It's a beautiful hip opening on the left-hand side. You can do the same thing in Sukhasana, where you're basically sitting in easy cross-legged pose with one foot in front of the other. And as you breathe here, concentrate your focus on opening up the back side of whichever hip is either the foot in front or the foot that's on top of your leg in half lotus. Reach as far forward as feels good to you. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back. Switch sides. So if you have your feet in Sukhasana like this, take your right foot in front. Or if you were in half lotus with your left leg, put your right leg in half lotus. Okay? Go ahead and inhale our hands up. Exhale them down. Inhale them up. Exhale them out and down. And then one more inhale up. And then exhale, go ahead and lean forward. So one side may feel different than the other. Honor those differences. Honor what your body tells you. Exhibit that wisdom that comes with Ajna to honor where your body is. Because trust me, if you try to force your body to do something, it's not going to work and you will get injured. Inhale. And then exhale, walk your hands back. All right, go ahead and unravel your feet. Let's go ahead and start off at the top of the mat. Whew. I've got old legs. I'm 52 years old. Okay, so go ahead, spread your feet about hips width distance apart. Stack your shoulders over your hips. So I'll turn to the side so you can see that, okay? Shoulders over the hips, pulling the belly button in, allowing your tailbone to slightly tip down. You're still keeping a little bit of a curve in your lower back. I'm not asking you to flatten out the lower back. Just a slight tip down, relaxing your tailbone towards the floor is a better description. Relaxing your shoulders back and down so that they are stacked over your hips. And then move your cranium back so that it is in alignment with your shoulders. Lift all of your toes off of the floor and then lower them. Once you have made firm contact with the 3 points of the foot, the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the heel, activating your arches, drawing energy up from the floor, up through the core. Once you've achieved that, now you may lower your feet. Allow your toes to be like suction cups into the floor. Inhale your hands up. And then exhale, swan dive forward. If you need to have your knees bent, then bend your knees. If you want them straight, keep them straight. Drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, fold back over your legs, drawing your sits bones to the ceiling as you draw your heart center down. Inhale into a flat spine one more time. Exhale your hands down to the floor, and then let's go into plank pose. Now it's interesting, today I injured myself yesterday. I'm getting dog stuff off of my mat, I apologize. Yesterday I injured myself. I was bathing my dog and she knocked me on the floor and I fell on this elbow. And it was swollen and I couldn't bend it because it hit the nerve. And here today, I'm all better. It's amazing what the body can do. Draw your heart center forward as you bring your heels back, drawing your belly button up against your spine, and try to pull your shoulder blades onto your back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, drop your knees, draw your elbows into your ribs, drop your heart center to the ground, and then draw it through as we rise up into Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale down. Inhale, draw your shoulders up to the ears, pulling them back as you rise up your heart center, and then exhale, lower down. One more inhale, bringing the shoulders up to the ears, drawing your shoulder blades down the back, rising up, and then exhale, lower down. Let's go into Sphinx pose. And then Sphinx pose, I'm gonna move back a little bit on my mat here so you can see me better. In Sphinx pose, your feet are flat on the floor. You're drawing your elbows, which are squarely underneath your shoulders, back as you draw your heart center forward, drawing your shoulders down and back. I want you to feel all of those muscles activating in the middle of your spine. Activating all those muscles that hold the spine stable and in place. This is the muscle energy that you're going to use for back bends. And over time, continue to build and develop these muscles so that when you go into back bends of any kind, you are safe. Inhale. Exhale, tuck your toes. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, moving back into child's pose. Putting your big toes together, spreading your knees wide, pulling your hips back into space, pushing the floor away with your hands. Go ahead and lay your forehead on the mat. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and tuck your toes. Lift your hips up into the air as we go into first downward dog. Keep your knees bent deeply. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I mean by deeply bent knees. See how my torso is moving towards the top of my thighs and how deeply bent my knees are. And then go ahead and draw the hips up in space. Pushing the floor away. Watch my shoulders as I push the floor away, allowing my heart center to draw towards the mat. Now go ahead and start walking it out, one at a time. Very nice. Go ahead and stand way up on your tippy toes, and then push your hips back in space, bending your legs, lowering your heels, lifting up your heels on the inhale. Exhale, lowering your heels. And then inhale, lifting back up. And then exhale, lower them down. You can have your knees bent. And go ahead and walk up to your hands, taking as many steps as you want to do that. Let's go ahead into Prasarita Padottanasana. So that's wide legged forward fold. Go ahead and take your 2 index fingers and make a circle around your toes. Inhale into a flat spine. And then exhale, keeping your hips up. Sits bones gravitating towards the ceiling. Draw your body into your legs, but keep your heart center moving towards the floor, not towards your legs. And one reminder that you can use, like I'm doing, is I'm lifting up my face and I'm looking at the floor. That kind of helps me. And then draw your shoulders onto your back. Notice that my legs are a little bit bent. That's okay. I don't feel this at all in my lower back. I feel it on the back of my hamstrings. And that's where you want to feel it. You want to be hinging at the hips, expanding the back of the legs. Go ahead and inhale into a flat spine. Exhale back down. Then go ahead and take your hands, and we're going to do Padottanasana by standing on our hands. So we're going to put our palms underneath the soles of our feet, and our toes are kind of massaging our wrists. Go ahead and draw the crown of the head forward into a flat spine on the inhale. And then on the exhale, draw your elbows out to the side as you forward fold again. Drawing your shoulders onto your spine. Inhale into a flat spine. And then exhale back down. And let me see who just buzzed in. Oh, okay. All righty. And then I'm going to copy from Simon. I saw Simon do Padottanasana from behind. So he had his viewers tuck their hands underneath their heels, lifting up the heels as they forward fold. What a cool way to do it. And I'm going to make sure that I tell him today that I copied him. So yoga with Simon is what I'm talking about. And he's creative. And I saw this and I said, oh my gosh, I got to try this. So your hands are underneath your heels. And boy, that's really working the back of the legs. So inhale. And then exhale, fold in. And then go ahead and unravel. Bend your legs deeply. And then go ahead and roll all the way up. Inhale your hands all the way to the ceiling. And then exhale your hands out and down. Ha! So I'm turning a little bit more so you can see me. So one of the things that makes Thursday night a little different too is we tend to do a slower flow than we're going to do on Saturday morning. Saturday morning is a traditional power yoga. I don't go as fast as some people, but it's a really, at times, pretty challenging flow, but it's great. It's usually outside at the treasure box where it's warm still as we're heading into fall. Inhale, exhale your hands down, inhale your hands up, and then exhale, fold over your legs, hands to the floor, draw your crown to the floor. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, place your hands down, move back into a plank pose. Inhale, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, and then inhale into upward facing dog. Rolling over the toes, exhale, pulling the belly button up against the spine into downward facing dog. Go ahead and push back into your dog. Inhale, raise your right leg high. Exhale, bring knee to nose. As you bring your foot all the way through, drop your left leg down to the floor. Let's focus on opening up the left hip. So you are in a low lunge. Your left knee is on the ground. Draw your shoulders back and down as you draw your heart center forward. Inhale. Exhale, tuck your left toes. Bring your left foot in to join your right. Inhale into flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then exhale back into prayer. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, your hands up. And then exhale, one dive forward fold. Take that left foot back again. Drop the knee to the floor. And then let's rise up. Exhale, hands down. Tuck your left toes. Bring your right foot back to join your left. Moving back into downward facing dog. Rise your left leg up. Exhale, bring knee to nose as you bring your left foot all the way forward. Drop your right knee. And then I was going to rise up, but we're not going to do that yet. Sorry. Keep your hands on the floor as you rise up your heart center and draw your shoulder blades down your spine. One more inhale. Exhale, tuck your right toes and bring your right foot to join your left. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. And then exhale, swan dive forward, hands out to the side. Now to the floor. Take your right foot back. Drop your knee. And then rise up into Anjaneyasana. A little bit of a curl under your back at the top. And then exhale, circle your hands down. Place your hands on either side of your left foot and bring your left foot back to join your right in downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, bend your legs and either walk or hop up to the front of the mat. Inhale. Flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Drop your booty as we head into chair pose. Inhale your hands up, keeping your hips low, rising your heart center, bringing your hands to the ceiling. Pull your belly button into the spine to give stability to your lower back. Keep your knees together. Move back in space so that your knees are behind your toes. So did you see how I did that? I was like this, and then I moved back in space. One more inhale. Exhale, stand up. Drop your hands into prayer. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. And then exhale, sit back in that chair again. Make sure that you can see your toes. Make sure your weight is moved back into the heels. And one way to test that is just lifting all your toes. One more inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. And then inhale, let's rise all the way back up. And then exhale to prayer. Take your right leg, cross it over your left leg. So your ankle is above the knee. You're creating like a number 4 with your legs, okay? We're gonna sit back in a one-legged chair pose like this. So go ahead and sit back. Move your body back in space, moving your hips back, and then bend your left leg deeply. And continue to keep the weight of your body as far back into your heel as you can get it. Now, you can rise up your arms if you want to. Or another option you have is you can kind of fold over and wrap your legs kind of in a bind. So have your left knee going into your upper arm and just grab your forearm, your right forearm with your left hand, and just fold over. As you fold, continue to sit back further and just enjoy this wonderful stretch. This is like a standing pigeon pose. One more inhale, exhale, and then inhale, rise up, and then place your right foot down, exhale down. So what I want you to always try to do is move with grace during your vinyasa on Thursday night. So poses might be challenging, in which case just back out them a little bit. Stand up a little bit more in chair pose to make it more easy for you. But over time, with consistency, you will develop amazing strength and you will enjoy these flows. So take our left leg, cross it over our right. Now on the screen, that's probably going to look like your right. You have the choice to follow the screen or follow my voice, I think. It's hard for me to know exactly the best way to coach in this virtual world. So I usually just advise people follow my voice. So inhale, and then on the exhale, sit back. Sitting all the way back, okay? Bending your right leg deeply. If you want, you can bring your hands up. That's one option. Or the other option is to fold over your legs, place your right foot into your right your right upper arm, and grab your left forearm with your right hand, and just fold into it and curl into it. Bending even more deeply with that right leg increases the stretch on the left hip. One more inhale, fully exhale, and then inhale your hands up. Stand up and release your left leg. Go ahead and shake that out, everybody. Doesn't that feel great? My students used to laugh at me when we could do our classes in person. They'd go, oh, you're always this weird vessel of peace, Kathleen, when we're over here feeling like we're going to fall over. But that's what's so beautiful about yoga, is that it makes you like that. Inhale our hands up, and then exhale, swan dive forward, reaching palm to the floor. Exhale into a flat back. Place your hands down, move back into plank, and let's go ahead and take a side plank. So place your right hand underneath your right shoulder, swivel over to the right, place your left hand on your left hip. Push that hip up in space into that hand. Draw your left shoulder back and look up at the ceiling. And then when you've accomplished all that, lift up your right hand. And try to find stillness. Try to calm your mind. Tell yourself it's just one pose, just right now. It's just one moment. Inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and place your left hand on the floor. Let's go through a flow. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. You stay there while I switch my position on the mat, because we're going to go back into plank on the left side. Inhale, exhale, move into plank, lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. But let's actually go back into that plank again. So lift your hips up to the plank, place your left hand in the center of the mat underneath your left shoulder, swivel over to the left foot, place your right hand on your right hip and push it up. Pushing your hip into your hand, draw your right shoulder back, and then lift your hand up to the ceiling. And again, tell yourself, it's one moment in time, just a few breaths, and you're going to be okay. Calm the mind, calm the breath, calm the body. Inhale, exhale, drop your right hand to the floor. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. And then exhale into downward facing dog. Now, the body should be nice and warm, so you might be able to get a nice long stretch out of your dog. Continue rising your hips up to the ceiling, drawing them backwards and up, pushing the floor away with your hands, drawing your shoulders down your back and away from your ears, allowing the heart center to draw towards the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Now I'm going to move to the center of the mat because we're going to move into eagle. Inhale. Exhale, pushing all the way back. Inhale. Exhale, bend your legs and then hop up to your hands if that's available to you. Or you can walk your way up. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Bend your legs into chair. Rise up. Take your right leg, cross it over your left. And if you're able to, clip your toes around your calf. So you might take the skin of your thigh and kind of rotate it up to create room. If you're like me, you kind of have meaty thighs. Okay. And then take your hands into what we call robot arms. Rotate your right hand underneath the left. Draw your shoulders back and down as you bring your elbows forward and up. Find a fixed point in the distance. Concentrate on that point. Find stillness. Find your drishti gaze. Know that this time that you're spending in eagle, Garudasana, helps you increase your concentration and calms the mind. One more inhale. Exhale, gradually unravel all of that. And then playing your hands down on the exhale. And back to prayer. Inhale. Exhale, sit back again. Bring your hands up in chair. Take your left foot, cross it over your right, clipping your toes behind your calf if that's available to you. Take your arms to eagle, and then cross your left arm underneath your right. Pull your shoulders back as you raise up your elbows. Find a fixed point off. Oops, I just fell out. Looking for my fixed point. Find your fixed point. Concentrate on that. Find your drishti gaze. Calm the mind. Calm the nervous system. Concentrate. One more inhale. Exhale, unravel out of that. Bring your hands up. And then exhale. Bring your hands down. And you might want to loosen up the hips a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to do just a little bit more flow to finish up the night. And then we're going to go into the floor and do a few floor poses before we head into Shavasana. Inhale your hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale your hands down. I'm going to move my hands forward and then move back into plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, bringing elbows down into the ribs as you lower chaturanga dandasana, and then rise up into upward facing dog. Exhale, drawing your belly button to the spine, rolling over your toes, pull your hips back in space for downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose, shifting your weight forward as you bring your left foot in between your hands. Did I say left? Right foot. Rise up into warrior two. Cartwheeling your hands open. Go ahead and lift up your toes to engage the arch. Pull your belly button in as you allow your tailbone to tip down. Pull your shoulder blades together. Looking out over your right hand, go ahead and lower your toes and deepen a little bit more in that warrior two. Drawing your right knee back towards your right pinky toe, using the muscles on the back of your hip. Activating all these muscles on the outside of the hip. Inhale, and then exhale. Go ahead and drop your left arm down to your left leg as you reach your right hand towards the ceiling and continue to keep that deep bend in your right knee. Inhale, reach your hand up to the ceiling. And then exhale, go ahead and drop down into side angle pose. I'm dropping my hand all the way to the floor next to my right foot on the inside, drawing my left hand overhead to create a straighter line. Drop the right hip. So you're getting deeper into that lunge when you're in extended side angle. Draw your right shoulder back. Inhale. Exhale, reach your left hand forward and rise back up into warrior two. Straighten out your right leg, take a breath. Take one inhale, and then exhale, move forward into triangle. Dropping your right hand to the floor beside your right ankle. You can have your hand on top of your ankle if you want. You can even have it on top of your shin, whatever works for you. Continue to tilt your tailbone towards the floor, drawing your right shoulder back in space, twisting to the left in this pose. Keep a micro bend in your right leg and upwardly rotate your thigh inside of your hip socket. So you're using the muscles again on the outside of your leg to accomplish this, so that your kneecap is facing the ceiling. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and drop your left hand to the floor. Bend your right leg to bring your left foot in a little bit to set up for pyramid pose. So draw your shoulder blades onto your back. We are now in flat back position. So inhale the crown of your head forward as you draw your shoulders back. And then exhale, fold over your right leg. And while you're doing that, continue to draw your right hip back in space. Continue to draw your shoulder blades down on your back. Drawing your heart center towards your knee or towards your shin. Try to keep your back as straight as possible. One more inhale. And then exhale, place your left hand on the inside of your right foot and rise your right hand up, twisting to the right in revolved triangle. One more inhale, and then exhale, drop your right hand down, bend your right leg again, and then rise up into warrior two. One more inhale, exhale, cartwheel your hands down, framing your right foot, get up on your left toes, bring your right foot back to join your left as you move back into downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your left foot up. Exhale, bring knee to nose, shifting your weight forward over your wrist as you bring your right foot all the way through. For a moment there, I forgot what I was doing. Rise up into warrior two, using the muscles on the outside of your hip. Now you're seeing my back side. Using these muscles to open up this hip, drawing this left knee back. Pull your shoulder blades together on your spine. Creating space, rising your heart center up and out of your hips. Go ahead and drop your hips a little bit more, bending that left leg a little bit more deeply. One more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and reverse that, placing your right hand on your right leg, reaching for the ceiling with your left hand. This is called Peaceful Warrior. One more inhale. Now on the exhale, go ahead and move into extended side angle. Left hand on the floor, on the inside of the left foot. Bring your right hand up to the ceiling and then alongside your right ear, and then drop your hips to create space. Draw your right shoulder back. One more inhale, reach. And then exhale, draw your right hand forward and down in a circle, back up into Warrior Two. Straighten out your left leg. Exhale, bend that left leg again. Let's go ahead and straighten it out. And then exhale, moving forward into triangle, moving your left hand forward, moving your body forward, dropping your left hand to the ground on the outside of your left ankle. Yes, this is all left. I'm getting confused now. Bring your right hand up to the ceiling. Tilt your tailbone down as you draw your right shoulder back in space. And then go ahead and rotate your left thigh bone up inside of the hip socket, using the muscles on the bone to move the bones outward, drawing your left knee to the ceiling. One more inhale. And then exhale, drop your right hand to the floor, bend your left leg a little bit, draw your right foot in, setting up for pyramid. Draw your crown of your head forward as you bring your shoulders back into a flat spine. Exhale, fold over your left leg, drawing your right hip forward as you bring your left hip back. Continue to work your shoulders back and down onto your spine, keeping a micro bend in your left leg. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, place your right hand beside the inside of your left foot. Rise up with your left hand, drawing your hips a little bit to the right. So you accomplish that by drawing your left hip back and your right hip forward. And go ahead and twist to the left. One more inhale. Exhale, drop your left hand down and go ahead and rise up into Warrior Two. Take a breather, inhale. And then exhale, framing your foot with both of your hands as you put them on the floor. Get up on your right toes and move your left foot back to join your right as you go into downward facing dog. Oh my gosh, that feels really nice. Inhale. Exhale, pushing your hips back in space, pushing the floor away, widening the space between your shoulders and your ears. Inhale. Exhale, pulling your hips back in space again. Inhale. Exhale, bend your legs and then hop up to your hands. Let's just go ahead and stay up on our toes. I'm actually going to move back so you can see better. I'm in the middle of the mat. So just rise up on your toes and take a prayer pose. Now this becomes the foundation for doing other really neat balancing poses up on your toes. So for example, you can rise up, you can cross, you can go into that half lotus again, you can go back down, up on your toes, okay? So initially, you can hold yourself up a little bit with your fingertips, and then when you get stronger, you can do the same thing, drawing your core muscles together, rising your heart center up when you're strong enough, And I don't even know if I am because I haven't attempted it. You can rise up into prayer. But how about you just join me in this journey, just watching me do this, like a tripod. Taking a lot of strength to do this. Okay, we'll go ahead and release out of that. And then I'm going to go to the other side. If you want to continue to stay like this, go right on ahead. So I'm going to take my left foot, draw it over my right. I should have done it from the standing position. That's all right. All right, there we go. Okay. I should have brought my foot a little further back as well. That's okay. It's all part of the journey. You might find you're stronger on one side than the other. I'm gonna go back to that other pose. It's a lot easier when you have both feet on the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and sit back now. Let's take staff pose. So staff pose is a really important pose. I'm going to turn to face you slightly away from the screen so you can see how I am in staff pose. See my back? That's what we're going for in staff pose. In staff pose, what we care about is whether or not we can sit straight up and down. So initially, you might need to put your hands back here to give yourself some support. But I really want you to train yourself to bring your shoulders over your hips. And then over time, maybe move those hands a little bit closer. Another way to remind yourself of your alignment in staff is placing your hands, your palms on the floor, pulling your shoulders back and down. That really forces you to use all these core muscles. And the more you use those core muscles, the better your back health. And that's what yoga is all about. Yoga is not about the acrobatics. Yoga is about feeling good. And I always say, I know how to help people feel good inside of their own bodies. Okay, let's go ahead and take a couple of Navasanas, boat poses. Let's start off first, just kind of with an easy boat pose. Keeping our feet on the floor, keeping our knees elevated, hands parallel to the floor, arms parallel to the floor. Go ahead and lean back. Draw your belly button into the spine as you bring your shoulder blades back together on your spine. You might feel that you're shaking. That's okay. Firing all those muscles off. And this is a heat-creating pose. And heat-creating poses can also help you feel cleansed and help you concentrate. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and lay across your thighs. Go ahead and put your forehead right underneath. One more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and rise up. I'm putting my glasses back on. Now we're going to go into full Navasana. So go ahead, place your hands, your arms parallel to the floor. Bring your arms back into the shoulder sockets. Lean back and go ahead and raise up your legs. Actually, let's do the modified version right now with our shins parallel to the ceiling. Just really focus though on drawing your shoulder blades back together, drawing your belly button into the spine. And I'm resting on my sacrum. Inhale, and then exhale, go ahead and place your feet on the floor. Fold over your legs, place your forehead on your knees. Go ahead and rise up. Now we're going to do the full boat. So go ahead, place your arms parallel to the floor, lean back, lift up your legs, and if it's available to you, go ahead and straighten them out. One more inhale, and then exhale, go ahead and lower everything down. So let's go ahead, sitting up again in staff pose. Let's inhale our hands up, and then exhale, hands at the hips as if you're doing your forward fold, like when we're standing in Tadasana, and then going into the forward fold. Go ahead and reach for your shins, the floor, your feet, whatever you feel comfortable with. But draw your shoulder blades back on your spine before you fold forward. Now, I might look kind of hunchback. I kind of am. And some of it's just the body mechanics of which parts of my body are sitting on one another. But I feel good. I don't feel this in my lower back. And I'm pulling my feet back as I draw my heart center forward. And as soon as I feel it in my lower back, I gauge, is that too far? Is that okay? You have to decide for yourself. Some people have had lower back injuries. Some people have wonky SI joints, and too much extension is a problem. But for some people, they feel good. So if you feel good, go ahead and lay down on your legs. If you don't, you can stay up high. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and rise up. Now we're going to do that same thing with each side. So we're going to take our right foot up against the inside of our right thigh. Inhale, raise your hands up. Exhale, hinge forward. Doing the same thing. You might get more extension this time because you're concentrating more on one leg, and then you've got your, your knee out to the side, which allows you to open up that hip. So just go into this as deeply as feels good. This tends to be actually a safer pose than a traditional forward fold with both legs. So you just gauge, again, how you feel. And you should feel a nice stretch along the top of your right hip and a nice stretch along your left hamstring. Inhale, go ahead and rise up. And let's switch sides. Placing our right foot in front, taking our left foot and placing it against the inside of our right thigh. Inhale our hands up, and then exhale, hinging. And then you can hold your foot, you can hold your leg, whatever is comfortable to you. You might feel it more intensely one side versus the other. But this is generally a safe stretch for the hamstring. And with the hamstrings, you really want to go slow. A lot of people have hamstring injuries because our hamstrings get short from all the sitting that we do in our jobs. When the hamstrings get short, sudden bursts of energy, say running, quick walking, or maybe even doing something like this where it's not sudden, but you're going deeply into the stretch, can really do some damage to the hamstring. And boy, recovering from a hamstring pull, I know people that have had hamstring injuries and they say they just don't ever really get over it. On the inhale, go ahead and rise up. And I'm going to invite you now to go into Shavasana. We've been practicing for about an hour and 5 minutes. And so I'm going to invite you to lay down. I'm going to get the speaker. And I'm going to provide some music to you after I talk you into your relaxation. So go ahead and work out the wiggles. It helps if you lift up your hips, maybe wiggle them out a little bit, and then make sure that when you lay back down, that you are equally distributing your weight on your sacrum. Take your shoulders, maybe kind of wiggle them around to find the positioning that feels good to you. I always find I have to roll mine together just a little bit when I'm laying on the floor to create some space for my upper back and for my neck, okay? You can keep your legs bent like mine are with your knees up to the ceiling, your feet on the floor. You can choose to go into bound angle Baddha Konasana by putting the soles of your feet together and allowing your knees to just kind of fall out, hollowing out the belly, very calming. Or if you want, you can move into full Shavasana by extending your legs. And you can even start off in Baddha Konasana or start off with the bent legs and then eventually extend. You can also put your knees together and widen your feet and allow your knees to just kind of fall in together. gauge what feels best for you. Tonight I'm going to choose full Savasana because actually I'm feeling pretty good. So go ahead and lay your arms down beside your body, palms facing the ceiling. Relax all the parts of your body. Scanning, starting with the crown of your head, relax all the hair and the skin on top of your scalp. Gradually moving down to your forehead, relaxing the skin on your forehead. Relaxing your eyebrows and relaxing your eyes deeply into the eye sockets. Relaxing the skin of your cheeks and the top of your nose and your upper lip, and relaxing your jaw. Draw your tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Relaxing your neck and your shoulders, allowing them to sink deeply into the mat. Relaxing your ribs and allowing them to fall down into the mat. And relaxing your hips, allowing the mat to fully support all those parts of the body. Hollowing out the lower belly as you allow it to relax, and relaxing your thighs, the skin above your knees, your shins, and your calves. Relaxing your ankles, the soles of your feet and your toes. And draw attention back to your arms and your hands, relaxing all of your fingers. Lay here in Shavasana for about 5 minutes, and I have a selection chosen for you tonight. as you're laying here, I'm just going to bring you back around to visualization on Ajna, the third eye. Let me find that for you. Oh, I apparently don't have one, so my apologies. So wherever you drifted off to, I invite you to join me in the present. Go ahead and bring some movement into your hands and your feet. Go ahead and maybe shake your head from side to side. Maybe nod it up and down. Maybe shrug your shoulders. Lay on one side or the other. Lay on your arm. Maybe curl into a ball. And just rest for a moment. And then go ahead and rise up. Joining me in a seated position, however you choose to arrive. Go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. And bow the head. I hope that this practice can help you to connect with your wisdom. As you go into your weekend, say to yourself, I see clearly. I trust my intuition. I have wisdom. The light in me joins the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Thursday night, Hatha Vinyasa Flow. Next week, we will continue and finish up our study of the chakras as we focus on the crown chakra. Have a blessed evening.